Here is the Beet Diggers starting lineup. The Beet Diggers will go with senior guard Colby Needens, along with senior guard Gregory Mares. Mitch Tormolin, a junior forward, is also in the lineup. Jeffrey Dunker, the sophomore, looks like he's starting for the Beet Diggers tonight as well. And the fifth member of the starting lineup for Brush is sophomore Randy Baker for Fort Morgan. They go with 6'4" senior forward Aaron Mendez, along with 6'4" senior center TJ Schneider, 6' senior guard Nevin McConnell, 6'3" senior guard Aaron Anderson, and also in the starting lineup is 5'10" senior guard Nick Garber. So 5 seniors starting for Fort Morgan tonight. The Beet Diggers with 2, along with 2 sophomores, and make it 3 sophomores for 2 sophomores and a junior, I should say, for
Captain America is a junior.
It will be Mitch Tormolin. I'm sure we'll be making that reference throughout the season.
I love those shoes.
Jen will be forcing me to make that reference when she's not with me for these games. The Mustangs in their home whites, and the Beet Diggers in their road maroons with the white numerals.
There's nothing wrong with having a little patriotism.
I'm all for it.
Especially this week, 70th anniversary of Pearl Harbor.
Yes, that was this past Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, it was Wednesday. So jumping center should be Mitch Tormolin for Brush. And TJ Schneider for Fort Morgan. Opening tip tonight brought to you by T.O. Charlie's for a great used car truck. If you don't see what you want on the lot, they'll find it for you at T.O. Charlie's, 700 West Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. And I anticipate the pace of this game to be frantic.
That's the way I like them.
The Mustangs like to run. The Beet Diggers, maybe not as much, but if they have their lanes, they'll get up and down that floor. This is the second game of our doubleheader after the Lady Beet Diggers defeated the Mustangs tonight 53-42. It will be Schneider and Tormolin for Fort Morgan and Brush respectively, jumping center. As this game getting underway about 27 minutes later than scheduled, and the tip is controlled by Fort Morgan. Here's Aaron Anderson with a basketball. On the outside right to Garver. Garver back to Anderson. On the outside right to Garver. Over to Anderson. Back to Garver on the right wing. Garver to Anderson, guarded by Needens. On the outside right to Garver. Right corner for Mendez. He had a nice game last night against University. Mendez, right corner, Garver, 3 in the air. Good for Nick Garver. Drills the triple. And the Mustangs lead 3-0. Here comes Gregory Mares for Brush with a fresh haircut. Mares looking to his right. Retreating towards the timeline. You notice things you don't have. Here's Baker dribbling by 1 at the free throw line. 14-foot pull-up is around and no good. The ball is tipped around once, twice, loose on the floor. Baker puts it up and in! For the Beet Diggers, Baker scores. And the Beet Diggers now trail the Mustangs 3-2. Backcourt pressure being applied. McConnell with the basketball for Fort Morgan. Back out to Anderson. They've got to get it across the timeline. Now to McConnell. McConnell just across the timeline to Garver on the outside right. Over to McConnell on the outside left to Mendez. Mendez dribbles by Baker in the lane. Puts it up. No, he throws it into the hands of Needens. Wanted to shoot and then it got caught in between his decisions there. Needens on the outside right to Baker against Mendez. Towards the top of the three-point circle. Spinning. Baker looking, still spinning. Gets it out to Maris. Maris with the basketball. Cross court to Needens. He'll take the 3. Bingo for Colby Needens. Rush 5, Fort Morgan 3. A minute 30 into the game. In the backcourt, Anderson with the basketball. Beet Diggers are applying pressure. Over to Garver to Mendez at midcourt. Back to Anderson. Anderson across the timeline at the top of the three-point circle, now retreating. Anderson looking out to his right to Garver. Garver to Anderson. Holding the ball up high. A lot of standing around by Fort Morgan. Anderson dribbling to his left, back to his right. Garver, wide open 3, and that's off to the right. And Jeffrey Dunker has the Beet Digger rebound. Long pass to Mares, all the way, lays it up and in! Boy, Gregory Mares with a lot of speed. And the Beet Diggers are on a 7-0 run, 7-3. Brush, 5:50 to go in the first. On the outside right, here's Garver, right of the lane. Back out to Anderson. Anderson into the lane all the way, scoops it up off the glass, too strong. Rebound McConnell. Back out to Mendez. They will reset. Here is Garver into the lane. Bounce pass to Anderson. Little 15-footer is off to the right. We have a whistle and a foul. And Jeffrey Dunker was fouled by T.J. Schneider or Nevin McConnell. One of those two committed the foul as Dunker had the position. It was Schneider, his first. Here comes Leo Lopez into the game for Schneider. And Scott Baker checks in as well for Fort Morgan. Gregory Mayers will take it across for the Beat Diggers, leading 7-3, 5:27 to go in the opening quarter. On the outside right to Baker, well beyond the three-point line. Right corner for Tormolen, dribbling to his left. Back out to Randy Baker, guarded by Mendez. Baker dribbling right into the lane, kicks it back out to Tormolen. Tormolen in the right corner for Baker, penetrating right baseline, spins, cut off by Mendez, back out to Dunker. Dunker dribbles by one, bounce pass Tormolen. Tormolen shoots and misses off the backboard. And the rebound is controlled by Leo Lopez. This guy can dribble. Lopez into the front court to Mendez, fakes, back out towards Garver. Garver left of the lane, left corner Mendez. The three in the air is no good. Rebound to Anderson. Anderson is fouled. No, he traveled. That'll be the second turnover for Fort Morgan. I think a foul was going to be called. However, the travel occurred first.
You are correct, sir.
That's 2 out of the last 3 games I heard the word correct.
I'm trying to use it more
often. Directed by Jen. I do appreciate that. Needens with the basketball. Gets a pick from Tormolen. Jump pass to Tormolen, and he lays it in after one dribble. Beautiful feed by Needens. The Beat Diggers already have 4 different players in the scoring column, and there's a whistle and a foul in the backcourt as Colby Needens fouled Nick Garver. 4:30 to go, and the Beat Diggers in the opening quarter on a 9-0 run. Mendez is out. T.J. Schneider is back in after a brief rest. And in for Brush is Vince Albo, as well as Bryce Needens. Lopez in the backcourt over to Schneider. Schneider front court pass now to Garver. Now to Schneider right through his hands, but Lopez picks it up. Lopez dribbling to his right. Back out to Baker. He'll take the three, and that is off the back of the rim. Rebound to Aaron Anderson of Fort Morgan. Anderson's going to have to reset. Does to Lopez. Lopez against Mayers. Back out to Garver. Garver on the left wing to Lopez. On the outside right to Anderson. Over to Baker. Now to Anderson. Anderson turns around looking for play instructions. Holding the basketball. Retreating towards the timeline. Now at the top of the three-point circle with 3:52 to go in the first. Brush 9, Fort Morgan 3. Scott Baker cross court to Anderson. On the left baseline, Schneider, 12-footer. Yes! For T.J. Schneider. 9-5 Brush. 3:39 to go, first quarter. John Beltran with Jen Goodall. This is 1010 KSIR, Brush Fort Morgan, and KPRB, Brush Fort Morgan. Tormolen to Randy Baker, tripped up by T.J. Schneider. That's not good for him. That's foul number 2. And that's what was happening last night to Schneider, is that he was getting coerced into fouls just by little things like that, and sometimes that's all it takes. And now he's out and Mendez is in, and the Beat Diggers gained a little bit of an advantage height-wise here.
Well, one of the things that you can do that'll get yourself in trouble on defense is to have your head forward and go for the steal instead of keeping them in front of you.
Bryce Needens with the basketball to Vince Albo. Albo to Needens. 9-5 Brush with 3:18 to go, first quarter from Fort Morgan. Gregory Mayers to Albo. Left wing three, wide open. It's off the back of the rim, and the ball is tipped by Tormolen, but his jump pass is intercepted by Garver. Nice job by Tormolen, but unfortunately, Beat Diggers couldn't hold on to that one. Here's Anderson, left wing Lopez, fakes the three, pass down low, intercepted by Tormolen. Third turnover for Fort Morgan. Needens into the front court at the top of the key, pulls up, three in the air, is off to the left. Long rebound to Baker. Baker turning in the lane, got the other Baker in the air. Here's Vince Albo on the outside left with the basketball. As the Beat Diggers reset, Baker straightaway shot is off the back of the rim. Aaron Anderson grabs his second rebound for Fort Morgan. Anderson across the timeline, 2:35 to go. Here's Lopez in the left corner. Lopez looking down low, bounce pass to Scott Baker, turns, shoots, misses. Vince Albo with a rebound for Brush. Neither team can really find the bottom of the net. Maris into the front court on the outside left to Albo. 2:19 to go, first quarter. Brush 9, Fort Morgan 5. Albo gets a pick from Tormolen, back to his left of the lane, in the lane, puts up a runner, no good. It looked like he was bodied up, fouled, but no, Albo has the ball, and then there's a whistle. That looks like it's going the other way. And the foul was committed, all right, by Aaron Anderson. The official was pointing the other way like it was against Brush, but it's a foul on Anderson. Beat Diggers with a lot of substitutions there. Well, no. No, the foul was committed. They put up 3-3. What is that?
We don't have a 3-3.
Ken Garcia not saying. They motioned that foul was against. I don't know. That's a mess. They motioned that foul was against Anderson. And they even put it on the board, but it's Fort Morgan's basketball. I'm going to tell you what happened. After this break, I'm going to tell you what happened last night at a JV game that was embarrassing. Mendez to Lopez from an officiating standpoint. Anderson's pass is intercepted. Taken away by Jeffrey Dunker in the front court with the basketball for Brush. Back out to Austin Garcia. In the left corner, Needens, 3 in the air. That is well off to the right. Mendez grabs the rebound. Yeah, the Beat Diggers have a player you might need to identify for me wearing 32. Left corner, Lopez with a basketball, not on this roster.
That would be Kyle Rosenbrock.
I've never seen him without a helmet. I wouldn't know what he looked like.
His movements are just like Joe's.
Lopez with a basketball. On the outside right to Garver. Intended for Lopez now, but taken by McConnell. McConnell on the outside left to check that to Aaron Anderson. Anderson against Austin Garcia into the game. A minute to go. Neither team has scored in well over 2 minutes. It's 9-5 in favor of Brush. And Garver retreating towards the timeline. Gets a pick from Mendez left of the lane. Back out to Anderson. Anderson against Dunker. Double teamed. Left corner Garver penetrates left baseline. Fouled by Dunker as he was driving to the basket. Dunker has committed his first foul.
I don't think he anticipated the speed on that. He didn't quite have this right angle for his cutoff.
Anderson to throw it in. Left baseline for Mendez. Back out to Anderson. Left wing to Garver. Garver with 40 seconds to go. Near the timeline to Lopez, who signals a thumbs down. That must be a play. Lopez dribbling to his right, getting a pick, maintaining the dribble. Up top to Mendez on the outside left to Garver. Against Dunker, steps to his right. Now to Mendez beyond the three-point line. Bounce pass in the left corner. McConnell back out to Mendez. 23 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Fort Morgan's held this basketball for well over a minute. Anderson in the right corner for Lopez. Jump pass to Anderson. 15 seconds to go. Garver, left wing 3. Good for Nick Garver. He's got 6 in a game. 9 seconds to go. 7. Dunker across midcourt with 5. With 4 right of the lane. Leans, kicks it back out. Needens, he falls down. Ball is loose. It's still loose, and that's the end of the quarter. With the score, Brush 9, Fort Morgan 8. This is 1010 KSIR and Morgan County's B106. 9-8, Brush leads Fort Morgan as we head to the second quarter. From Fort Morgan High School, I'm John Beltran with Jen Goodall. Lady Beat Diggers won the opening game tonight, 53-42 over the Mustangs. Needens, Maris, Tormolen, Albo, and Baker for Brush. Beat Digger basketball. Needens has it at the top of the key, pulls up from 15, and he misses, but he was fouled. Leo Lopez, Nevin McConnell, Aaron Anderson, Aaron Mendez, and Nick Garver for Fort Morgan. That foul was committed by Nevin McConnell. Yeah, last night, Jen, in a junior varsity game that Fort Morgan was leading by about 16 or 17 points with 25 seconds to go. The free throw's in by Needens. The man who committed the foul for University shot a 1-and-1. He actually committed the foul. The officials got all confused. Mustang coaches decided to wave it off since they were up by 17 with 25 seconds to go. And I spoke with your good friend and mine, Harrison Chisholm, after the game. Said, have you ever seen anything like that? And, well, when the victory's in hand, you know, and it's amazing. I mean, University didn't have enough dignity to admit that it was wrong there. Mendez has a shot blocked by Tormolen. The ball is loose underneath, taken by Mendez, though. Mendez to Garver in the lane. Jump pass is off of Albo, out of bounds after hitting McConnell's head initially. So that one will stay with Fort Morgan. Needens went 2 for 2 at the line, by the way. 11-8 in favor of Brush. 7:20 to go. Did you know that was a new rule, that if you commit the foul, you get a free throw? Bounce pass down low for Mendez against Tormolen.
Not one I know.
Yep. Over to Garver. Now is Anderson. 16-footer good for Aaron Anderson. He scores for the first time in the game. The Bee Digger lead is down to 1, 11-10. 1 minute into the second. Mares, left corner, Albo, dribbling to his right, scoops it over to Needens. Needens has to spin it back out to Albo. Albo, free throw line to Tormolen. On the outside right to Baker. Baker back out to Needens. Needens with the basketball at the top for Vince Albo. Holding the ball on his left hip. Albo dribbling to his right against McConnell. Flips it right side, poked away. Albo gets it back though. Over to Baker. Baker in the lane all the way. Scoops it up and he misses. Rebound to Tormolen. Dribbles, turns, shoots, scores! Swish! For Mitch Tormolen.
And that's what he needs to do.
13-10. Here's Anderson in the backcourt. Over to Leo Lopez. Lopez with the basketball. Bounce pass front court to Mendez. A 3-on-3. Left corner. Garver penetrates. Foul by Albo. That'll be the 5th team foul against the Bee Diggers. Check that. The 3rd team foul, I should say. Mustangs have 4 on them. We've only had 2 free throws taken in nearly 10 minutes of basketball. Albo is out and Colby Needens is in. Garver to trigger it in. Left corner for McConnell. Back out to Anderson. Anderson dribbles and shoots and misses in and out from about 15 feet away. Tormolen, a very good rebounder for Brush, pulls it away. That's his 3rd. Here is Gregory Mares across the timeline. Very fast at the top of the key. On the outside left to Baker. Baker into the lane. Back out Needens. Right wing 3. No good. And the ball is tipped around once, twice. And Randy Baker saves it in nicely, but he saved it into Nick Garver. Man, that Baker is an athlete, is he not?
He is. I call him Fuzzy Face.
Lopez with the basketball. Tries to kick it back out. Mares tips it away. And then Mares went to the floor and Garver took him down. Yeah, I think that contact was incidental. It was just a poor pass from Lopez. 5th turnover committed by Fort Morgan. And the 5th team foul there. The 1st on Garver. And as we anticipated, Jen, close game so far. It's going to be close throughout.
Well, they both have different strengths from what I can tell.
Bryce Needens to throw it in. Over to Colby Needens just beyond the timeline. Needens to Mares. Mares with the basketball, dribbling to his right. Picking up the dribble. Over to Tormolen beyond the 3-point line. Tormolen to his left. Jump pass to Randy Baker. Baker with the basketball. In the left corner for Mares. Mares looking down low. Mares to his right. Over to Baker. Now the Bee Diggers are showing that same patience we saw out of Fort Morgan on previous possessions. Mares with the basketball, getting a pick from Baker. And now we've got a Fort Morgan timeout. That's a good timeout. The Bee Digger offense looked out of sync. A 30-second timeout brought to you by Edwards Wright Price Market in Flowerland at 1201 East Platte Avenue in Fort Morgan. Stop by and get what you need to refuel on game days.
Well, and what I was going to say was they have different strengths. For instance, Fort Morgan with seniors. That's a strength.
5 starters.
When you're coming in with experience versus new bodies. Second thing is I think Fort Morgan's going to be a little stronger on the inside game in the paint, whereas we have a little more on the outside, as in 3-pointers and slasher. So a few different things to look at here. I'm still trying to figure out, Fort Morgan's running a 4-out, 1-in, but they're not doing the same thing with the girls where they're going to high-low, so they're not sending someone to the paint as soon as their post goes to the free throw line. So I'm still analyzing that one.
Mares in the backcourt to Needens. With 5 minutes to go in the second. Brush 13, Fort Morgan 10. Up top to Baker. Baker with the basketball against Anderson on the outside right to Tormolen, guarded by Scott Baker. Dribbling to his left, picks up the dribble. In the paint to Baker. Turns, shoots, and scores. Randy Baker from 3 feet away off the glass. He's got 4. Brush 15, Fort Morgan 10. Scott Baker into the front court. Double team, spinning, looking. Lobs it to Leo Lopez on the outside left. Lopez, cross court. Nick Garver steps into the lane all the way, scoops it off the glass. Too strong. And the rebound is controlled by Garver. Reverse layup up, no good. And then the ball is knocked out of bounds. Boy, Garver had big opportunities there. Unfortunately for him, he just missed them.
Good hustle by him, though. He got 2 or 3 rebounds right there. We didn't box out very well. Should say Brush. Shouldn't say we.
Here's Gregory Mares with the basketball.
Sorry.
Mares across midcourt on the outside right to Needens. Needens guarded by Garver. Needens dribbling right of the lane all the way. Bounce pass to Baker. Baker fades, shoots, and scores. Oh, a nice shot by Baker. Body control. And he's got 6 in the quarter, 6 in the game, I should say, leading all scorers. It's 17-10 Brush, and then McConnell, I think, was fouled in the backcourt. You know, basketball players are some of the best actors.
They
They commit the fouls and, no, it's not me.
Well, a lot of times, they think that their hands being clean up on the top, swiping at
Right.
the ball, but what they're not thinking about is how far their hips are shoving into them.
Right, Randy Baker commits the foul. The Bee Diggers with 14 fouls and Fort Morgan with 5. Lopez into the front court to Anderson. Bounce pass to Baker, lays it up and in. Wow, nice job from Anderson to Scott Baker. Fort Morgan trails 17-12. Mayers in the lane, left corner Needens. He'll take the three, and that is deep. And the ball is tipped by Leo Lopez into the hands of Aaron Anderson. Third rebound there. Here's Nick Garver across midcourt at the top of the key. Back out to Lopez. Lopez will set up the play on the outside right to Garver with 3.5 to go in the second. Brush leads by 5. Right corner Lopez fakes the three, steps to his left, steps in. Back out to Garver. Lost the ball, got it right back against Mayers. Gregory's a very pesky defensive player. Anderson left corner, now to Scott Baker. Over to Nick Garver. Garver dribbling to his left. Bounce pass to Anderson. Left corner McConnell. He'll take the shot. He will miss it. And the rebound is controlled by Bryce Needens over to Colby Needens, and he traveled. Well, yeah, Colby was not expecting that pass. That's pretty obvious. And I think that Bryce probably, even though he had a nice rebound, should have held on to that basketball. I mean, normally I think you're anticipating your point guard is the one who should get that one. And
right. I think he just saw maroon and went.
Yeah. On the outside right with the basketball is Eric Kemble into the game for the first time. Ball poked out of bounds by Colby Needens, intended for McConnell along the left wing. It'll stay with Fort Morgan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm agent Greg Mullen is there. Let Greg Mullen work with you to get the discounts you desire and coverage you need. State Farm agent Greg Mullen. McConnell, Kemble, left wing three is well short. Rebound McConnell. He banks and scores. Nevin McConnell. He's got his first 2 points of the game. Brush 17, Fort Morgan 14. With the basketball is Mayers. Mayers on the outside left to Dunker. Dunker dribbling left wing. Down low to Needens. Needens up and under is going to have to back it out. And the shot is missed over there. And the rebound to Aaron Anderson. Then he is fouled. And let's see who the Brush foul was committed by. Anderson grabbing his fourth rebound.
I think that was
Jeffrey
Dunker.
Dunker with his second. And Aaron Anderson to throw it in. In the backcourt to Lopez, over to Kemble. Back to Lopez. Lopez still in the backcourt, over to Aaron Anderson. Lobs it front court to McConnell. Hands it off to Kemble, left corner. Here's the shot by Schneider back into the game. He misses. And Gregory Mayers tips it up nicely into the hand of Kyle Rosenbrock. Here is Mayers approaching the 2-minute mark of the second. Fort Morgan trails Brush 17-14. Austin Garcia into the game at the top. Looking to his right, spinning. Still spinning. Bounce pass over to Rosenbrock. 2 freshmen in the lineup for Brush. Over to Tormolen. Here that left corner. Down to Needens. Back out to Garcia. He takes a straightaway three. And it's off to the right. And Rosenbrock with a nice rebound. Rosenbrock back out to Garcia. And the Bee Diggers will reset the offense. Here is Gregory Mayers, 1:38 to go in the second. Needens with the basketball, steps to his right, gets a pick from Garcia. At the top, outside right to Rosenbrock. Rosenbrock to his left. Looking back out to Austin Garcia. Garcia gets a pick from Rosenbrock. Wide opens Rosenbrock, left of the lane, feeds Gregory Mayers. Mayers cross-court pass to Needens. Needens will fake the three, then he's stripped nicely by McConnell. Third turnover by the Bee Diggers. 1:13 to go in the second. Bee Diggers, and a nice interception there by Needens. Needens with one to beat, over to Mayers, back to Needens, lays it up, and he missed it. Rebound to Needens, puts it back up and in, and a foul on the Mustangs. And to the line will be Colby Needens. It's amazing. Sometimes it really pays off when you miss a shot, because he should have made the first one, but instead he'll go to the line. Nevin McConnell commits his second foul of the game.
He did a good job of playing up in the passing lane on that one to get that interception to start with.
Now, for some reason, it's not on the board. That should be 19-14. It has not been noted. Guys, can we go? There we go. Well, that took about an hour. At least it felt like it.
Okay, calm down over there.
Well, thank you, Jen. I do need some help at times when free throw is in. Now the Bee Diggers lead 20-14 over the Mustangs here with 61 seconds to go in the opening half. Anderson, Kemble, Lopez, Mendez, and Garver for Fort Morgan. Tormolin, Rosenbrock, Austin Garcia, Gregory Maris, and Vince Albo now into the game for Brush. Anderson trapped, jump pass to Garver, then he throws it into the Fort Morgan bench. Nice catch there by head coach Chad Unrein. Unfortunately, that doesn't count. It's turnover number 7 for the Mustangs. Albo to throw it in three-quarters court, actually just beyond midcourt. With Brush looking to stretch a 6-point lead. Maris with the basketball with 49 seconds to go. Outside right to Rosenbrock. Gets a pick from Tormolin towards the top of the key at the free throw line. And the entry pass was intercepted by Eric Kemble. Then Austin Garcia strips it over to Tormolin. Up and under, off the glass and in! Well, that's a great defensive play by Austin Garcia. Tormolin now with 6. And the Bee Diggers lead by 8, 22-14. 27 seconds to go before the break. Anderson across the timeline. Bounce pass to Lopez. Lopez back out to Anderson. On the outside right to Kemble. Kemble with 16 seconds to go. Over to Anderson. Anderson on the high right to Garver. Garver guarded by Albo. Cross-court pass to Anderson. Poked away, taken by Lopez here. Lopez jump pass to Mendez. 4 seconds to go. Over to Anderson. His shot is up and short. And Lopez tried to go for the rebound. Taken away by Rosenbrock. And that is the end of the opening half. With the score, Brush 22, Fort Morgan 14. This is 1010 KSIR and Morgan County's B106.